Good evening, everyone. If someone can tell me they can hear me, that'd be great. Also, if you can, make sure you hit that like button. Share this with your friends and family, and comment where you're from. That'd be great. Thank you all for joining tonight. We have a lot to talk about. We have severe weather to go over across the South, from South Texas across the Gulf Coast, all the way to Florida the next couple days. And then we have snow that's coming across from Texas into parts of Oklahoma, into northwestern Arkansas, southern Missouri, and the Ozarks. We're going to talk about that, as well as this is just the changes that we were talking about that we're going to start happening. This is basically the transition from being very warm across the area to back to average, to below average, then below to possibly way below average as we go throughout the rest of the month. So, like I said, if you can hear me, please comment where you're from, hit that like button, and share this with your friends and family. If you're over on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's basically like liking a page on Facebook. Hit that thumbs up button over there as well. All right, we'll get started here in just a few moments. All right, good Saturday evening, everyone. We are live, and we're going to talk about this upcoming possible snow that's coming through Texas and through parts of Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and possibly as we go into Monday night to Tuesday, maybe some backlash snows into parts of Kentucky, even. And then as we go up towards the northeastern parts of the United States, they're going to get a pretty significant snowstorm up there as well. As this is just a transition period that we've been talking about over the supporter hub. If you're not a supporter, you are definitely missing out at upcoming uh, winter events, severe weather, stuff like that. We go through it all. We basically go through month per month with our supporters, long range discussions. They knew that this was coming, that this was a possibility for about a week and a half now. That this we're going to have a front running storm system come through, and there was going to be a possibility at some wintry precipitation. So if you're not a supporter and want to become one, I think there's a button on your live screen right there. It should be one of those buttons next to your chat, or you can. I'll provide a link in there as well if you'd like to join. All right. So basically, what you see on your screen here is we have winter weather advisories in the tan colors here for parts of northwestern Arkansas, basically in the higher terrain over towards Tulsa, Oklahoma City, basically down the I-44 corridor. Now, the National Weather Service out of Springfield has not issued any watches or advisories as of yet. There's still a lot of uncertainty, especially as you get into the Ozarks, on where this heavier band of snow is going to set up, because there could be a ball snowfall accumulations in a short distance, but probably in between counties. Could have basically nothing. Some places could have 3 to 4 inches. We're gonna have to fine tune this forecast, I'm sure, especially for the Ozarks. As you go back through over here towards Amarillo down to Lubbock, Texas, they're going to get clobbered with snow down here. Where they're under winter storm warnings as of right now, in as far southwestern parts of Oklahoma as well, including Altus, over here towards just basically southwestern Oklahoma under winter storm warnings. You go over towards, like I said, Amarillo, to Plainview, Lubbock, down to Spur, Morrilton, or Morton, down here in parts of Texas here, Pampa. And then as you get to north, it's going to be a little bit lighter. Over you get up towards Dumas, Perrington, and Guyman, Oklahoma. You're under winter weather advisories up that way. So that's what we have right now. There's probably going to be another update in the morning where they're going to either have more winter weather advisories out for southern Missouri, possibly extending a little bit further east into northern Arkansas. We'll see how that works. And then there's winter storm warnings up here towards the northeastern parts of the United States, or winter storm watches, that is. Sorry about that. Across Pennsylvania into New York, Connecticut, into Boston area, even. So something to if you're traveling that way, it's going to look like a big mess as we go into Monday night into Tuesday up that way. All right, so let's get into. We need to talk about severe weather first, because that's first and foremost as we go in through tonight through the rest of the weekend, that is, and then early next week. All right, hopefully y'all can see this okay. So we're talking about currently, okay? So we're going to go through, there's 2 mesoscale discussions out from the Storm Prediction Center. One is here. Watch is unlikely here, but there's a 5% chance there could be a watch, but it's very unlikely. There's isolated damaging wind possibility, and or a brief tornado cannot be ruled out later this evening across parts of Mississippi, including the Jackson area. So please stay weather aware in this area. There's probably not going to be a watch issued, but you need to stay weather aware across this area for this evening and into the overnight hours. Okay. All right, let's go. There's one more out in Texas. Here's the one in Texas as of right now. This is including San Angelo and the Junction, Del Rio, just a few places down here in Texas. Intense thunderstorm development is expected later tonight. Very large hail, probably in excess probably of golf balls to softball size, possibly baseball size, with some threats of isolated severe gusts of an in excess of 60 miles an hour. And a tornado cannot be ruled out with any storm system near this boundary, basically up here towards San Angelo, down probably over towards just east of or west of Brownwood here. So that's something to keep an eye on down this way, as we've got some severe weather that could be really getting going later tonight. So let's take a look at the risks for later tonight and through tomorrow and Monday. All right, here is for the rest of tonight into early tomorrow. Basically, this is going through the rest of the overnight period. So, thunderstorms with large hail, isolated, damaging, severe winds, and perhaps a tornado or two is expected to increase in area coverage across Texas later tonight. We basically went over this basically from Abilene, San Angelo, San Antonio, Austin, Waco. I would expect there to be watches coming out probably later this evening tonight into the overnight hours. So you need to have a way to get warnings in this area tonight. Okay, especially with these severe hail possibilities, straight line winds in excess of 60 miles an hour, and a tornado or two is possible. You need to have a way to get warnings, since a lot of you are going to be asleep when this starts happening later tonight into early tomorrow morning. This is the most significant risk is severe hail. So anything in the hatched area here, we'll just put this down. Anything in the hatched area is greater or equal to 10% probability of significant hail greater than 2 inches diameter. We're talking softballs to baseball size possibilities across this hatched area as we go into tonight, into early tomorrow morning. Alrighty, day 2 outlook. This is for tomorrow, Sunday. Severe thunderstorms are expected from southeastern Texas into portions of the lower Mississippi Valley vicinity on Sunday. Large hail, damaging wind gusts, and tornadoes are all possible tomorrow, which is Sunday, February 11th. We're talking southeastern parts of Texas over towards most of Louisiana. We're talking Lake Charles, New Orleans, up to Jackson, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama. Need to be weather aware tomorrow, as, like I said, all hazards are possible: tornadoes, hail, and high winds. So please stay weather aware as we go in through tomorrow. So let's take a look at Monday. All right, as we go into Monday, more severe weather is possible across southeastern parts of Alabama, along the Gulf Coast, Florida Panhandle, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, up toward Atlanta, Georgia, and then southern South Carolina is under the slight risk for Monday. Thunderstorm clusters associated with isolated wind damage and or a tornado threat. And a tornado threat will be likely across parts of the southeast on Monday. So multi-day severe weather threats as we go along the Gulf Coast as we transition from this warmer period into a more of a normal to a below normal period coming up across areas. This is well highlighted in our supporter hub for a while now, and we've been giving you some signals on the public page as well that the changes were going to start happening. And then after we get towards mid-month or so, the cold and this pattern is really going to start. The colder air is going to start settling in, and the pattern is really going to start setting in as well. More active, cooler pattern coming in, especially through the region. All right, so let's take a look at some future radar here real quick, just to go over some of the thunderstorm possibilities over the next couple days here, and then look at the transition to snow across Texas through Oklahoma into the Ozarks of Arkansas into Missouri. I will have a snowfall accumulation map out here in just a second. We're going to go through. I want to get through all the severe weather first. A lot of people don't really pay attention to severe weather. We had a marginal risk across parts of Arkansas yesterday. We had huge softball size hail around central Arkansas yesterday. We had 2 cells, big hailers, basically cells that merged across central Arkansas and actually created a tornado that EF1 tornado that was. This was in a marginal risk, and there was no watches out or anything. So even if you are in a marginal risk, please stay weather aware. It only takes an isolated storm or two to really blow up and change people's lives across the area. So please, please, please pay attention to severe weather. We're starting to get into, we're going to start transitioning into spring here in the next couple months, and that's going to bring more bouts of severe weather. So you need to know where you live, where you are on a map, state wise, where your county's at, where your town is. This all will help in the long run of identifying if you're under watches and warnings. Okay, this is basically a life threatening situation. You need to know where you are on a map, county wise. You know what your county is. You need to know where your city's at. You know where your state is on a map. This is a great tool to have in your toolbox to go forward here, especially when we get into significant severe weather events that threaten your livelihood across the area. Okay, I can't stress that enough. Alrighty, let's take a look at future radar here. This is basically what's happening right now across the area here. So some thunderstorms trying to get going, as I mentioned in that mesoscale discussion around Jackson, Mississippi. So please stay weather aware around that area. Another thing is, if you need a radar app that basically has all the tools basically you need, a Radar Omega is a great weather app to have. I mean, sometimes you got to pay for good stuff, so this is a good tool to have across the area. You can actually have some future radar with some models. Right now, you're seeing the HRRR on your screen uh, for for the area here. So as we go forward here, we go to 11 o'clock. You can see this is 11 o'clock tonight. You see thunderstorms really starting to explode across Texas here, just east of Midland. So explosive thunderstorm development could be possible as this upper level low starts really rotating out of the of New Mexico here, and nice big line of storms. These are going to be some big hailers down south here, just southwest or west of Austin, Texas. As we go throughout the night, this is 3 o'clock in the morning possibilities. We have snow wrapping up across Amarillo, stuff like that. So, and then as we go forward, this is 5 o'clock in the morning. We have big storms heading towards possibly Austin early tomorrow morning. 5, 6 o'clock in the morning here, 7 o'clock. Very heavy rains across southern Oklahoma in through parts of Dallas as well. Then that basically kind of moves into eastern parts of Texas tomorrow, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. Got some pretty big, decent storms across the area here. This is just the first. This is all going to be rain basically in southern Oklahoma as it moves northeast. And then it's going to hit some drier air. We've had northeast winds most of the day across northern Arkansas, southern Missouri. So this is going to hit some drier air and try to. This will help cool down the surface temperatures because our dew point versus temperature spreads are pretty big at the moment. But as this rain starts falling, start cooling down the column, it will get colder. But you can see as this rain had really starts packing a punch, and then as we get, like I said, towards noon, 1 o'clock, it starts heading towards that drier air and kind of just fizzles out across northern Arkansas and Missouri. But that'll just help cool down the atmosphere some more. And then all this back here, about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, is either rain mixing with snow or changing the snow across Oklahoma City down towards the eastern side of the panhandle here of Texas. Okay, and as we go throughout the night, there is some bands that's big, heavier bands of snow that tries to set up around Oklahoma City, up towards Tulsa, probably rain changing to snow as we go throughout the night. And then as we go into probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, this is probably going to be either rain mixing with snow or changing to all snow. And this could be some pretty heavy pockets of snow. There's going to be a lot of snow falling out of the sky, but it's going to be borderline temperatures. We could be 33, 34 degrees It could be 33, 34 degrees across the area. And as you can see on your screen, we just got a new watch this popped up across parts of Texas. And I'll go over that here in just a second here. So as we go in through 3 o'clock in the morning on Monday, this will be early Monday morning. You get 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. This is mostly going to be snow across southern Missouri into northern Arkansas with some pretty decent banding that sets up. Ground temperatures have warmed up some, but with these heavier bands, it could create some travel issues, slush across the roadways as you get these big, heavy, wet flakes flying out of the sky. And with heavier precipitation, the cool air, the upper level cold air that's below freezing will start making its way down to the surface. So if you're sitting around 34, 35 degrees, get these heavier bands come through, you could probably drop to 31, 32 degrees, have a quick accumulation, and the roads could turn really trashy really quickly for a brief period of time across the area, which will cause some travel issues across southern Missouri into northwestern Arkansas. Some of those counties in northwest Arkansas are already under winter weather advisories. I do expect there will be some more across southern Missouri as we go in through tomorrow morning. So this is 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning, probably with some widespread snows across southern Missouri to parts of northwestern Arkansas, so with some heavier bands that occur. So where these heavier bands set up, you will cool down to freezing or either right above or right below freezing as this heavier precipitation in the snow basically comes down to the surface, and you will have quick accumulations. Okay, where this banding sets up is critical, and we still have some time to figure that out. It's going to be a narrow band of some very heavy snow across southern Missouri into possibly northwestern Arkansas with this latest model run here. 9 o'clock in the morning, this is probably going to be all snow, and this is going to be very heavy snow if this actually occurred across southern Missouri. And this is actually trending just a little bit further south than what we've been looking at here over the past couple of days, because there's been some trends north here. And then as we go in through late afternoon into the evening, all this wrapped around rain possibilities into parts of northeastern Arkansas could be mixing with a few snowflakes here and there, or maybe possibly changing over to a little light snow before ending across northeastern parts of Arkansas with no really accumulation there. So let's take a look at this. We got severe thunderstorm watch just issued across parts of Oklahoma or parts of Texas, which I have no idea why it's split like this, which I think that might be a little mistake. But let's take a look. We have get this banner off here. So we have National Weather Service has issued severe thunderstorm watch until 4 a.m. on Sunday across Texas. Bandera, Edwards, Gillespie, Kerr, Kennedy or Kenny, Leano, Real, Uvalde, and Valverde counties are under the gun for severe thunderstorm watch here until 4 a.m. Here's what this one says up here. Comanche, Hamilton, Mills, Eastland, and Stevens counties up here as well under severe thunderstorm warnings or severe thunderstorm watch until 4 a.m. in the morning. So need to stay weather aware. I think this map is kind of needs to be updated. I think that it came out a little bit wrong here. So there's going to be some big time hail. Like I said, severe hail possibilities across this area. We just went over that or just a little bit earlier. We did that. Okay, enough about that. All right, so let's take a look at a few other models here. I want to show you why when you're looking at models, you're probably thinking there could be 8 to 10 inches of snow across southern Missouri. Well, that's not going to be the case. I'll show you why here in just All right, before we go over to models, here is a better depiction of that severe thunderstorm watch that goes until I believe 4 o'clock in the morning. This is including the Abilene area down in San Angelo, down towards Kerrville, Fredericksburg, Junction, which is a few areas here. Big hail in excess of 2 inches in diameter, maybe a tornado or two out there, and some winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. So this is going to be explosive thunderstorm development as we go in through tonight. Like I said, this watch was just issued a few minutes ago. Alrighty, so let's get the models real quick. All right, so this is the latest NAM, and actually, let me change this to the 3 kilometer. Okay, so this is the 3 kilometer NAM. So this is the latest 00Z. As you can see, if you just pull up total snow, this is the Kuchera. Okay, you're like, man, we're going to get crushed. If you live in southern Missouri, we're going to get crushed. We're going to get like 6 to 10 inches of snow. Now, with those bands, 6 to 10 inches of snow might fall out of the sky, but it's not going to accumulate like that. Okay, because it's going to be very heavy, very wet. Ground conditions are warm, and then you have to get into some of those heavier bands to get that cold air above your head down to the surface. We're going to be borderline between 33, 35 degrees, possibly with some snow falling. But as we get into these heavier bands, it'll briefly go to freezing or maybe a little bit below freezing. And then that's where you're going to get your quick accumulation, and the roads will be impacted temporarily across the area. So this is just total snow Kuchera. This is why I caution people to model watch, because they're going to think, "Wow, we're going to get slammed with snow." You cannot forecast snowfall off just the Kuchera unless you know there is cold air already in place, and there's not going to be some kind of borderline scenario here. And this is what we're going to be dealing with across the area. So you need to take a look at positive snow depth change, and that is a good indicator of how much possible snow you could possibly get across the area. All right, so let me change this so you can see this is the Kuchera. Shows you this is how much could be falling out of the sky, but this is not going to accumulate this much. Okay, this is showing 15 inches of snow out here towards Texas. Even now, if you go to positive snow depth change, look at the difference. Okay, so here's Kuchera, here's positive snow depth change. Okay, so and you that bullseye basically back here in Texas. Think you could somebody could get 10 inches of snow back here in parts of Texas. And then as you run up the I-44 corridor, maybe an inch, maybe a little bit more than that. I think this may be a little bit underdone, especially with banding coming through the area. But some of this is going to come during the day, which will have a limiting factor because the sun will still be out, and the sun will still get through those clouds and warm up some of the ground. So, like I said, we'll still be borderline scenario here, 35, 34 degrees. Snow could still fall at that temperature, but you got to get in those heavier bands to get that cold air above your head down to the surface to get below freezing temporarily, and then get that rapid accumulation possibility, and then the roads could be impacted. Now, as we go up, as this low pivots towards Arkansas, kind of dies out that deformation band just a little bit back in Oklahoma, but really ramps up across southern Missouri and far northern Arkansas. So if this came true, southern Missouri, basically from I-44 all the way to far, far, far northern Arkansas, right along the border, could have 2 to 4 inches of snow before this is all said and done as we go into Sunday night into Monday across the area. This is just a sign of things to come. Like I said, this was well talked about over in our supporter hub about this change happening during this time period, right around basically the 8th through the 12th, 13th or so. There was going to be a front running storm system. We talked about this for about a week and a half over in the supporter hub, and here it is. And then we're going to be transitioning into more colder than average temperatures as we go forward. So, how much snow are we looking at? Let's take a look at that really quick here. Alrighty, let me get this off. Okay, so this is my initial thinking at the moment. Okay, so anywhere in the light blue, we're talking just north of the river valley in Arkansas, northwest Arkansas, over towards parts of Missouri, through basically right around St. Louis, back towards far northern Oklahoma, southern Kansas. Anywhere in that light blue area, we're thinking you may get nothing, you may get up to an inch. This depends on where that banding sets up that you might get some wraparound in. Okay. So don't be surprised if you don't get anything. And then maybe, maybe a mile down the way, especially up here in the Ozarks where they're at a little bit higher elevation, might get a little bit more than that. Okay, get into these lighter blues here. This 1 to 2 inch band, basically from Oklahoma City up towards Fayetteville, Harrison. We're talking probably just northwest of Mountain Home at the moment. Kind of a scenario there. If this band comes a little bit further south, you may get more there. West Plains, we're talking about a 1 to 2 inches. Get up towards the south side of St. Louis. We're thinking maybe 1 to 2. And then back here, as you get into the darker blue, we're talking I-44 in Missouri down to the state line or so. Talking Branson to Ozark to Springfield to Ava or so. Some of these higher elevations, especially east of Springfield, I think 2 to 4, maybe a little bit higher amounts across an area, especially if banding these heavier bands set up and basically sit over some of these same areas. So this could happen up that way. This band, especially in Missouri, could easily move north a little bit, could easily move south a little bit. We're about 24 hours away or so, maybe a little bit more than that away from this event, especially in Missouri into Arkansas. So we have some time to really fine tune where this is. But there's going to be a fine line where someone's going to get a bunch of snow to someone's not going to get hardly anything. So that's why these heavier bands of snow is critical where these set up. As we get back into Texas, anywhere in the purple area, especially south of I-40 by Amarillo, down towards just north of Lubbock, there's going to be a nice 4 to 8 inch band all the way back into parts of New Mexico and southern Colorado. 4 to 8 inches is possible with locally 10-inch amounts. All right. So, like I said, this is just the transition period before we get into a colder pattern. And we're going to have a lot more information as we go throughout the week, because next weekend, there's a lot of bits and pieces that need to come together. But the way the pattern is, there could be a big storm coming around, and with cooler than average temperatures, there could be some more winter weather across the area. So stay tuned on that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll leave you all with the snow accumulations on your screen just for a few more minutes. You can kind of see where your county's at and where you're at. And I'm expecting some changes. So especially with the Southern Missouri band, that could come a little bit further south, could come a little bit further north. We're just going to have to wait and see on that as we get closer. Okay, so there will be some changes, I believe, there. But anywhere towards Oklahoma, down towards Texas, that's basically a done deal. Like I said, the only thing I'm going to really change is probably the far northern Arkansas and southern Missouri. I think there's going to be some changes as we go into tomorrow. Okay, all right. Stay weather aware tonight, especially over in Texas. I showed you where that severe thunderstorm watch was issued, and then big hail out that way. We have severe weather basically going all the way down through the Gulf Coast into Florida as we go through the rest of this weekend into early next week. Stay safe out there, and like I said, if you get some of these heavier bands of snow, there's going to be some travel issues temporarily across the area. Okay, across this area. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your evening, and we will have another update in the morning.